Okay, hey everybody, welcome back. If you're seeing this video, that means that you want to make some meatloaf. So I'm gonna show you how to make some regular traditional meatloaf, and it's really simple. I just came back from the grocery store, I worked out, washed my hands and everything, of course, and I wanted something that does not take too long to prepare and something that can cook while I'm showering and washing my hair and stuff. So I was like, hey, let's make some meatloaf. It'll last, and I like meatloaf. And you can repurpose the meatloaf if you want to. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, you need some ground beef. It's just me, but I did buy the, what is this, a 3 pound ground beef. I'll probably give some to my neighbor or something like that. But when you do cook meatloaf, it will shrink up, so it really won't be this big. But you need ground beef, you need a mixing bowl, clean hands, you need an egg, can use breadcrumbs if you want to, or crackers. The egg is used as a binder to hold it together. You need onion, green pepper. So here is, and you need some seasoning. So salt, pepper, garlic. I got some Mrs. Dash and some onion powder, and you need ketchup and mustard. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so also what I've done is I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, put my meatloaf in a bowl, and I'm gonna use my hands because you have to mix everything together. So first things first, I'm gonna take some sea salt. You can use seasoning salt, you can use regular salt. I don't know, I just like using this salt because I can see it and I feel like it helps me not to over salt my food. So with 3 pounds, I say maybe you need a tablespoon of salt, just one. And I kind of, like I said before in other videos, I kind of like eye my foods, and it might look like it's a lot of salt, but once I start mixing it up, it won't be salty. Trust me, I've made this enough times to know. Then I want to get my coarse ground pepper, black pepper. So I just use the other side with this hole so it's easier, so I can put out a lot. Then I'm using some original Mrs. Dash. I love Mrs. Dash because it is salt free, and actually I started using Mrs. Dash as a child with my aunt. When I lived with my aunt, my cousin has multiple sclerosis, and so when he was first diagnosed, he had to change his diet, and so we use this a lot in food, and I think it tastes good. Like it seasons food well. They have different flavors. I have the chipotle, I love the garlic and herb, but this is like my holy grail. Of course you want some garlic powder. I feel like, you know, you just gotta have a garlic powder. Like, you know, garlic makes everything taste better. And then I want to do my onion powder. Even though I'm actually putting onions in this too, I'm still gonna put a little onion powder in it because I feel like it makes a difference. 2 different flavors of onions. Now I'm gonna put my chopped seasonings in, which is gonna be my onion and pepper. So green pepper. So let me move this, wipe this off again, and come back. So I'm cutting the top off of this. This is how I cut my pepper. You know, you want to remove the seeds from the inside and everything. And I just kind of do that. Bell peppers are not spicy at all. It just gives it a little flavor. I'm not the best chopper, but I mean, I get it done. So this onion, I've had this onion, but I just cut the top off, throw the top part off, and then I just cut it. And I'm not gonna use a whole lot. I'm just gonna use this much. And I'm gonna put this away for safekeeping. You definitely wanna peel the skin off of the onion. You don't want that. So now I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce, or however you say it. If I had to gauge, I would probably say I'm going to do about like 2 tablespoons because like I said before, there's 3 pounds of meat. And don't worry about thinking that you're going to oversalt your food. And then I'm going to crack 1 egg because again, the egg is the binder, and that's going to help it mix and stay together as well. So now, seasoned breadcrumbs. I'm going to just take this, sprinkle a little bit, maybe 1/4 cup, I'll say. Not too much. You don't want to get carried away with the breadcrumbs. Okay. Last ingredients: ketchup, mustard. So you want to shake your mustard up. I'll say 1 tablespoon of mustard, or yeah, 1 tablespoon of mustard. And then maybe 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Ooh. It looks gross, but it's gonna be good. So now I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, and now we get to mixing. A little more salt, because I just feel like I need a little more. And I'm gonna put a little more Mrs. Dash. And I feel like if you ever want a seasoning that you could just sprinkle a little more of without feeling like you over season your food, Mrs. Dash is the one. So now that I have mixed it up with my hands, now I'm going to form the meatloaf. And you can form it in whatever kind of style you want. If you want a ball, I'm trying to form it something similar to like a bread loaf. And also I'm mixing it even more because I noticed that there was like some seasonings, there were more seasoned parts. So I just mixed it up a little bit more. I'm just forming that baby just nice and tight, real polite. So you do it how you want to do it. So after I formed, I'm going to cover it with foil and I'm going to cook it covered on 350 for about 35 minutes. Now on to the sauce. So to make the sauce, you need some tomato paste, some ketchup, and some barbecue sauce. And I like to use Sweet Baby Ray's. And yes, the label looks raggedy because it got wet, but it is not old. So what I do is I use about, I would say, a half a cup of barbecue sauce. And then I would say a fourth cup of ketchup, and then a 6-ounce jar of tomato paste. And then I also like to add a little red pepper flakes at the end. I'll sprinkle that in, and I'll just stir it up. And then you also, when you stir it up, you want to taste it because that is going to be your sauce. So I give it a good stir and mix all the stuff up, and I make sure that it's to my liking. Sometimes if you're feeling a little frisky, you can add a little drop of hot sauce in it too, but we're not doing that today. I'm just mixing it up and gonna taste it to see if I like it, and if I needed to add any more ketchup or barbecue sauce to it. Shout out to my Uncle Reggie for the barbecue sauce tip back in the day. Okay. This is what it will look like when you take the foil off. So what I'm going to do is take it out and drain it, and then I'm going to cover it with the sauce and then let it cook some more. Drain this. It looks gross, right? So now I'm going to put the sauce over and I'm just going to let it brown and cook. So here we go. In the oven it goes. Back in the oven it goes. So as I said before, I cooked the meatloaf on 350, covered for about 30 minutes, and then I put the sauce on and I cooked it for about 15 more minutes, with the last 5 minutes being on broil high so that it can get a little burnt, a little brown, because I think it looks cooler that way and it tastes better too. So now I'm going to show you how I cut the meatloaf. Now this is going to be kind of a fail, but I tried to cut it from the center because I was like, oh, a centerpiece will look better. But you really should start from the ends and use maybe like a better retrieval method, because my wooden spatula just was not enough. And then me using the knife, I probably should have used 2 spatulas, or like my lasagna thing. So as you can see, I'm failing miserably trying to put this on a plate, but you can see that it's piping hot, so I really can't show you much. Meatloaf, to me, the presentation is going to be what it's going to be. It's the taste really that matters. Meatloaf is not a glamorous dish, but it does taste good, and it's cheap and it's easy to make. So just watch me pick up the pieces and try not to eat them as I'm doing it. But you can cook this. This meatloaf probably cost me $10. Probably, if I had to add all the seasonings and things, $10 to make. So as you can see, here's an up close shot of the inside and what it looks like. Some onions fell out and stuff, but that's all the good stuff. Here's my plate. It's looking real good. And it tasted even better, y'all. I wish I could have just feed all of y'all, but it looks real good. And I just basically paired it with some green beans and mashed potatoes. So bon appetit, and I hope you all try it and let me know what you think.